Welcome to the New Monks. This podcast is dedicated to those of us on the journey of evolution. Through these episodes, we will dive into the lives of individual people and discover what they have learnt and how they have handled their growth. We believe that we all have wisdom to be shared with each other and can learn from listening to each other's stories. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you feel like leaving us a review and sharing the love, that would be greatly appreciated. So this is just a heads up because, there's a lot of information that is coming to light at the moment, and through these episodes, each person is going to share a different side of that for them. Now, this isn't to say that every single thing that is shared here is going to be 100% accurate. It's just not where we are right now. It's just not the case of the unraveling and the disclosures that are being revealed to us. Obviously, things are always changing, and in one moment something can be so real and so true, and the next moment is completely shifted and changed into something else. This is the journey of evolution. This is the journey of ascension that we are going through right now. So this is just an invitation that your discernment is really, really important. As always, as usual, please take what resonates and leave the rest. Thank you. Hi, welcome back to the New Monks podcast. Today I am speaking to Champ Parinya, the creator of the Great Awakening map, which was released in 2018 and went viral online. And in the subsequent years, 2019-20, he experienced a lot of censorship, as so many others did as well. And I came across the map maybe 2 years ago, and I was just fascinated by the detail and the person behind it. I wanted to know who, why, what, where, and everything. So I'm really grateful to be having this conversation, to hear more about this journey and this process to get to a space of such recognition and acknowledgement of what is happening in the world at the moment. And so, we speak about a lot of different things, and he has eventually found a path in Buddhism. But moving from LA, he's now living in Thailand and stepped away from his life as an aspiring artist to become a Buddhist and find himself in a meditation retreat. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you. Hey, bless you. Thank you so much. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for bringing me on your show.
Yeah, thank you so much for jumping on. So I found your awakening map, I think it was last summer maybe, or last summer. I feel like I was a bit late to the party. But when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, actually, I saw just a little snippet of it on Instagram. It wasn't the whole thing. And I was like, I need to find the whole thing. And then it was just like, who did this? Who's the person behind this? Because,
So
this
you
is
must have
so
been
cool.
on a spiritual journey for a while for you to come across something like the Great Awakening map and actually find interest in it.
Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, it's been a little while. So there's just so much on there as well. So I was just like,
What did you find fascinating about it? Did you find topics that you have already studied yourself?
yeah, loads. Like loads
Okay,
of them.
perfect.
And I loved that as well, that it just said the Great Awakening, like right in there as well, and that's what it was called. Because I feel like, I don't know, like for me, that's like such a big phrase for what's taking place. But I guess not many people use it, and maybe sometimes it's got some other connotations as well.
The term Great Awakening is not a modern term. It's a very ancient term, and it connotes a state of being where somebody finds out some sort of truth about reality, and it changes them so much that they don't return back to the same person. So, for example, the enlightened Buddha or the enlightened Jesus Christ. These are some examples of spiritual masters who have gone through their own great awakening, and they realized certain truths about reality that changed them so much that they became these enlightened beings that were able to help billions and billions of people. So the term Great Awakening has also been um, used in our recent times, like over the past 5 years. It's
Yeah,
also
definitely.
talking about like a political awakening as well as a spiritual awakening, because everything is interconnected. So when somebody uses the term Great Awakening, it literally means that they're learning truths about reality that have been hidden. And these truths have
Mm,
the power to completely transform somebody's life forever in a positive way.
yeah, totally resonate. I love that. So anyway, before we dive in, like I like to just take a few deep breaths before we begin. And then just tell us how you're feeling right now.
I feel open like the sky.
Wow. That's amazing. I love that.
I feel like this most of the day because as a yogi, we are always practicing meditation throughout the day, like all the time, even
Hmm.
with eyes open.
Hmm.
Meditation that I practice is an open eye meditation, and are just bringing your awareness to the present moment and releasing the past and the future. It's known as a non-dual awareness. So, um, yeah, I really
Mm.
appreciate you bringing me back to here.
Oh,
The best place to be. Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Meditation is like one of the biggest awakening factors in someone's spiritual journey. If you don't meditate, you're not going to understand what spiritual awakening is truly has the potential of. I mean,
Yeah.
there's reading and studying, but there's also experiencing, and experiencing
Mm.
goes hand in hand with meditation and
Mm.
cultivating, open heart, open mind.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. And I created this online course, Awakening 101, and literally this is what the first, it's like a foundation, I feel like. And I definitely had it in my experience. And I think sometimes you don't realize how powerful it is, especially when you're doing it all the time. But before, for me, it was definitely like specific practice. And now it's become much more like, as you described it, just like constant, you know?
Yeah, eventually, when you first begin, we like to close our eyes and spend, maybe like an hour per day, that kind of thing. But as you get more accustomed to meditation, you start to realize that the peace that you cultivate during meditation, this peace can be found throughout the day when you are going about your daily routine.
Mm.
And if you can remember how to be as peaceful as you were when you were meditating, when you're just out and about during your day, then that's the whole key of meditation, is that the peace that you cultivate never leaves you. And whether you're
Mm.
angry or stressed or anxious or in traffic, that peace is always with you. So you just literally come back home to
Mm.
that awareness that you cultivate during meditation. Always there. And it doesn't require you to close your eyes, for an hour. You can just be awake throughout the day and still carry that peace with you. And that's the whole goal of meditation, is to always be awake
Mm.
and
Mm.
alive, fully present,
Mm.
really open,
Fully present. Yeah.
present and fully open to whatever life brings, whether it be good circumstances or bad circumstances. Eventually, everything becomes less judgmental. You stop judging things as good or bad, and then you're always in a state of bliss. You're just observing and happy, regardless of what comes by.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a moment when if I'd stopped meditating, then I would notice like slipping out of that state. But then it got to a point where it was just there constantly, you know.
Oh, that's great. It's called coming back again and again, coming back home.
Um,
The moment you forget is a really good moment because you remember that you forgot and then you come back. So part of that meditation is forgetting. Otherwise, you would never remember to come back. So when you forget, be thankful that you forgot because now you can come back, which is
mm,
the whole game.
it's literally the whole game, like the whole game that's
Oh yeah,
happening right now.
yes. An enlightened being is somebody who keeps coming back to the present moment. It doesn't mean that they have to stay that way all day without making any mistakes. It's just that they keep coming back and they keep remembering to come back and bring their attention, their awareness back home where it's just always a bliss. It's always an equanimous bliss.
Mm,
Always there.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's totally what's happening. It's like the what do they call it? Like the cosmic joke and like
Yeah.
the cosmic play, you know, this remembering of what's
Cosmic joke
happening.
is that we're humans and we have the ability to forget. We have the ability to forget who we were. And then we
Mm.
go about life having these dramatic drama stage plays about everything when in reality there's nothing really there. We're just making up all of these ridiculous judgments about reality until the moment we die, and then they're still judging things as good or bad until that moment.
Yeah,
Um, so to try to like release it all is the game.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
move it all.
But yeah, meditation is powerful. But yeah, so I just wanted to, I would love to just hear about your journey and your story because this awakening map is like very detailed. But the one thing that I noticed when I first saw it, I was like, there's so much. Like there's, and when, like for me, my awakening started initially, and then I think like when 2020 happened, it was when all the kind of like conspiracy theories came to my attention a lot more. Even though
That's a,
before, say again?
that's a really good year
Yeah, it was a good year,
for
right?
awakening. Yeah. To awaken is like, okay, you're like right in the middle of it all.
Yeah. And then, but I think before that, intuitively, I knew things anyway, but just didn't know the details, you know. But the map was just, there's just so much on there. So it's just like you have clearly been diving deep.
The deep dive took over a decade, and during those 10 years, I really spent a lot of time trying to see the big picture of reality, whether it is, secrets of the human body, or whether it's secrets of like aliens and secret military projects in space, or secret inner Earth civilizations within our world and the moon and Mars and whatever. There's just so many amazing things about our reality that are hidden from us. And when
There's
you
so
start
many.
to piece together the big picture, you can create something like the Great Awakening map because you
Mm,
understand that consciousness is the linking factor between all of those topics that you see. And the Great Awakening map was created solely to awaken people consciously, like to literally put them on their spiritual awakening journey and to show them all the infinite possibilities that exist for their mind and body, as well as amazing things about the nature of our reality that I think everybody should know. Everybody has this birthright to know our true history and what's really
Mm.
going on in our cosmos. Because once you understand these things, not only are you liberated from ignorance, but you're also able to live a more peaceful and happy life. The more you know about yourself and your world, the more you are able to have a better appreciation and a love for all beings, the interconnectedness of everybody, and where we're all going, why we're here.
Yeah,
So
totally.
if you are into these kind of topics on the Great Awakening map, I totally like salute you because you are the type of people who are going to help change this world and bring us into, to put it simply, world peace. That's the whole goal.
Mm.
And it's possible. It's just that we have to realize that all of the answers are already here and stop looking outside of ourselves through all
Totally.
the ridiculous ways that we've been destroying our world. There's
Yeah.
many better ways to do
Yeah, so many.
it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like, yeah. It's I like what you said about, this it's like the discovery of why our origins, who we are, and it is the information is here, but it's been hidden. So it's such a process and a journey. But one thing that I really appreciate is just people speaking about these things from a very like centered place. Because conspiracy has been a lot of people, it's been debunked and all these things, but to come forward and just really boldly just say, look, do you know what I mean? Here's the map. This is what's been going on.
Right.
It's powerful.
I mean, the media, which is like 99% negatively owned by people with negative intentions, they
Yeah.
try to hide this type of information from the public. And they do a pretty good job of it. I mean, they've been doing it for generations and generations. People don't really understand the truth of reality because the news and the media and all of these media corporations, they are controlled by, groups who don't have humanity's interests at heart. And these are individuals who are operating under very dark agendas to control
Mm.
the mind, to control the consciousness and the heart of humanity. And if humanity keeps going on the path that it is, the more that people watch TV and listen to everything that it says, this is why the world is in the way that it is. The world is in such mass confusion. It's because people listen to what's on TV. They think it's real and they think it's what they're supposed to become and listen to and whatever. So people like you and I, we don't look to these sources of information to embetter our lives. We actually try to protect ourselves from it. And once you do that, you start to realize, you start to discover all the secrets on the Great Awakening map. These are topics that are not taught on television or in schools, and for that
Yeah.
reason, they are the topics that transform your mind and body into, ascended beings.
Yeah. And
Put it simply.
it changes everything, like you said, to actually know more of the truth of our history. It changes everything now, in the present. Yes, but what happened with so 10 years ago, what were you doing? How come this kind of discovery began?
Okay, I was like living back in California. I was a graphic designer. Um,
Are you
just
from
doing,
California?
yeah.
Yeah.
So at that time of my life, I was just a young graphic designer living at home. And I had
Uh-huh.
so much time on my hands. So I was literally just researching all of these strange things that you see on the map. And it just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper. And eventually I discovered consciousness and meditation. And I also found out about like secrets of the human body, like our third eye and telepathy and psychedelics and higher states of consciousness and higher dimensional realms and like spiritual ways to heal the body without medicine, these kinds of things that are just like amazing, life-changing things. So
Was it? Yeah.
yeah, I was just fascinated with all of these things that not only were amazing, but I actually was like transforming myself as well and seeing changes in my life, in my mind, in my heart. So it just keeps going and going, and you just continue further looking for, that which brings you the most joy on this path.
Hmm. So was it mainly on the internet, or were you reading books as well?
Most of the stuff that you can find on the map require you to dig on the internet and
Internet.
on YouTube. And if you really have an interest in these topics, sometimes you can go to like conventions and actually meet these researchers. You can meet these whistleblowers. You can meet all of these consciousness scientists and monks and whoever brings you the most interest. I went and found these people and to see if it was all true.
Yeah.
And I got to really change my life and change my whole personality in ways that I would
Mm.
never have imagined, because the spiritual journey keeps showing you who you truly are if you're willing to let go of who you used to be. And who we all
Mm.
used to be is just a person who is really ignorant and so sure of the world that they don't want to change. And therefore, their life is just like sort of stuck, I guess you could say. But once you
Mm.
start fighting all of these miraculous spiritual topics, your life begins to change, and then you start to see that within yourself. And then you make the effort, keep pursuing this positive lifestyle. And it also brings joy to all beings that are in your life, because you're just a different person. You're not the same stubborn person that you used to be. You're changing your life and others as well as the world eventually. Hopefully in the work that you do.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, but why did you dive into these topics like the research? Was there a specific moment or something? Because I always find it really intriguing how, there must be some other people who have loads of time on hand, but they're not also doing the same research, you know what I mean? What was like, was there a seed that kind of like opened the door
Oh,
into,
absolutely. Like
yeah,
during the time I was living in Los Angeles, I was also like suffering from, you could call it like pimples, acne, and I couldn't figure out how to heal myself. Like no
okay.
medicine, no doctor, nothing worked. And I was like so depressed because I was just like, I didn't want to go out in public. I was just like staying home, trying to heal myself, but it wasn't getting better. Sometimes it would be like so bad, I just couldn't go anywhere. So I was like researching on the internet, like how to heal yourself. And then
Wow.
some of the topics that came up had to do with like, oh, try meditation to reduce stress. If you have less stress, you'll have clear skin and blah 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 blah. So it sort of started out like that because I got fed up with the medical industrial complex and all of their really harmful medications that just made your body.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
I learned to eat organic food. I learned to make like super nutritious smoothies. I learned to like
Mm.
just reduce my diet to like organic, healthy, highly nutrient things. Cut out all the junk food. Like, these
Mm.
types of simple but big
Simple.
transformations.
Yes.
Just what all just started. And once you get into this conscious community, the conscious community is full of like good health tips as well as like, by the way, there's aliens and ETs.
Hmm.
You're
Okay.
gonna find, yeah. you're gonna come across it. So I was just taken away, like, wow, there's so much I was missing out on for the past,
Wow.
the whole time I was been alive. I didn't know all of these secrets, but now I do. So my life
Mm.
is much better now.
So it's interesting because I think for a lot of us, there's something to do with health. I feel like that's like kind of a door for many people because it's just the medical industry is such a big like red pill to because I know so many people and so many people that I've spoken to on the podcast and have had such crazy similarities as well with just like having similar health conditions, never finding a solution. It's so interesting because it's almost like it's becoming so obvious. It's not working. You know what I mean? Like so many other people having to find alternate routes to healing and to healthy living, you know?
Yeah,
But
like I was studying Dolores Cannon's work, and she's a past life regressionist,
yeah.
and she's done past life hypnosis on thousands of clients. And what she's learned is that in our past lives, we have certain ailments and diseases and bodily complications, but they harbor from past life karma. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, like the medical conditions we have in this life, we're born with them so that at a certain time of our life, when we meet these problems, we try to find spiritual ways to heal them. And this is our awakening. It's like a built-in past life mechanism that
Mm-hmm.
allows us to have a spiritual awakening should we choose to pursue it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's said thousands and thousands of times again throughout Dolores Cannon's work. All of her clients, they come into this life with certain medical problems that they carry from past lives. And it's their job in this life to awaken to why they karmically had them in the first place. And then it allows them to heal, spiritually heal. It's a
Mm.
fascinating way to look at it. And there's a lot of truth
Yeah.
in it, you know. So that's one way you can try to understand why everybody has a spiritual awakening in terms of trying to figure out how not to die, how to save their body.
Mm. Yeah. But it's interesting because I feel sometimes, do you feel like you said here whether you choose to have it or not, right? Um, yeah, what's your perception of that choice? Because
I think
obviously
that
you've
eventually
created the map.
there will be catalysts in your life that keep appearing and reappearing and disappearing until you
Mm.
finally awaken, disconnection,
But
coming back.
yeah,
Yeah.
do you think it happens for everyone, or yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
That's the question, right? Is everybody here to awaken? I don't think so, but I think that a majority of us are.
Yeah.
And that's the
Okay.
whole point of being born in a human body on Earth, is
Mm-hmm.
because Earth gets the opportunity to graduate from
Yeah.
some of the deepest spiritual challenges that only a
Mm.
human being can achieve. Like especially if you study Buddhism, they know that this life is a place where you can finally break free from your ignorance. When you become spiritually awakened to the point where you become an enlightened being, that is something only a human being can achieve. Like if you were a god or an ET, these higher beings aren't able to attain enlightenment like humans because they are so distracted in a higher state of being. They don't have the challenges that humans do for them to consciously ascend to a higher dimensional consciousness, like from 4D to 5D or 5D to 6D. A spiritual catalyst is required, like a spiritual challenge, a negative circumstance that allows somebody to use their body and mind to find peace. It's
But
a
aren't
very,
some of yeah.
it's a very, very deep topic.
Yeah, but Aren't some of them already there? ETs and
They are already there, but they are also, in a way, not there.
uh-huh.
There's still something that they're striving for, which means that they still have some sort of anxiety in their life. Otherwise, they would just be fully enlightened light beings without the need to come back and do things in lower realms. And you know what I'm saying? There's like, if there's an agenda, then enlightenment is not fully achieved. There's still some sort of grasping to this reality. And if any being is grasping to this reality, they're literally grasping onto something that doesn't exist, which creates negative karma. That's how negative karma begins, is when we try to grab something that isn't there.
Mm. Well, my understanding is that there's different dimensions, and then some beings from higher dimensions have chosen to help the Earth in this transition right now. But I don't really know how that correlates to the enlightened one.
Right, there's extraterrestrial beings who have been custodians of Earth for generations. And there
Yeah,
are also angels, and then there are also like Buddhas and gods, and so many names for them, like higher
yeah,
dimensional beings, super consciousnesses. There's a lot of names for them. But you have to understand that most of the ET beings that we hear and see about and read about, I think those beings are still trapped in what is known as samsara. They're trapped in the matrix, and they're looking for a way out as well. Even though they have like miraculous powers and UFO ships and all of these magical abilities, there's still an attachment to this reality that they're trying to get out of. And that
mm,
is why they're here with us in this journey. So
mm,
we should still look up to them and look to them for guidance and support and help. But at the same time, we have to realize we are all on the spiritual journey as well as they are.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, perhaps that's it. It's like a process, but
Oh,
then
absolutely.
once you get past a certain point, but I don't really know anymore because sometimes I also just think that there's an aspect of actually just coming online in those other dimensions. So it's not like one or the other. It's like all now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you die and you have a really positive life and you've done a lot of great good karma for yourself and for the world, where you are reborn will be much better than where you were born in this life.
Mm,
It's a spiritual truth. It has to do with the state of your consciousness and the amount of love in your heart. It's a very high vibration. So when you pass away, if you've done a lot of good deeds, you will be reborn in a very, very favorable realm. You can call it a
mm,
pure land or another dimension or
mm,
another form of being. Maybe you don't even have a human body. Maybe you're just like a light body. That's a very typical place where higher beings go. So you have to realize, like, once we are not human, our potential to be something greater and not limited to this physicalness is very true. That's what happens to a lot of people who are reborn. They don't want to be reborn in Earth because it's very negative, so they are reborn in a much lighter place.
mm,
And that is the spiritual journey. We are trying to awaken now in this life so that we can
mm,
realize that there's more to go, and therefore we spend much more care on ourselves now so that we can help all beings in this life and as well as future lives. This
mm.
is the ultimate spiritual awakening. It just
But
keeps
I,
going.
yeah, 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 yeah. Of course, right? But I did hear that it's different now during the planetary end times. This like reincarnation system.
I think that a lot of people will begin to realize that we have past lives and we will have future lives. And just from
Yeah.
that note, if you accept this truth, then you're going to change your life now in ways that will benefit your future lives, which is a positive
Mm.
thing because you're only not only are you helping all beings in the future, but you have to help yourself now, which automatically
Yeah.
helps everybody else around you because you're healing yourself and you're
Yeah.
able to be more loving and kind and compassionate to all beings around you, raising the vibration consciousness of the entire planet. Very important.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like when, just like the awakening and the choice that you were talking about before, I feel like, yeah, the people who can like kind of see and accept, for example, what you have on the map and some of the truths that are coming out, it's totally related to past lives because I don't know, it's almost like you can't. I always feel like you just can't skip a level. You need to go through experience in order to be able to like actually see it. See, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the Great Awakening map and you truly understand what it's doing, there are the deepest, darkest topics known to mankind on there. Terrifying things, as well as the most
Yes.
spiritually enlightening, positive, love, light topics that you could find
Yeah.
in the universe. So from that contrast, from the dark all the way to the light, I think everybody should know this gradient of life. Once they
Yes.
know the
Yes.
darkest things, then they can know the lightest things. So the map shows somebody everything in order for them to choose the light, the positive.
Mm. Yeah.
It's
Exactly. And it's so interesting because it's like, well, yeah, why are you choosing the light? But I don't know, for me, it's just like, obviously, that's the way. You know what I mean?
it's the
But
way.
yeah, that's the way. But I like what you said because, yeah, you're right. When you don't see the whole picture, you don't realize that there is a choice. And you're not maybe as fully equipped to respond, to things that are presented to you. Especially what's happening now, it's like really disguised. And if you don't see the darkness, you won't know what's really taking place. It's so important, and it's difficult because it is like you said, it's so dark. So it's like it's a lot. I think it's a lot to you know understand, to acknowledge, to accept.
I think that you are quite lucky to come across the Great Awakening map because now the map is like a light in the dark for you. You have a map that shows truths of reality that can bring you out of this darkness forever, not just like for 5 minutes a day. I mean, there are techniques, spiritual techniques and teachings in that map that lead you on a path of awakening such that you will never have fear again. You will never return back to ignorance or pain or suffering. You're literally becoming a Buddha. And a Buddha is an enlightened being who has understood the truth of reality so much that they never ever have emotional suffering in their life again. They're just a pure, loving being. And this is our true potential. But when we're born into this world, we don't have the mentor to make us realize this throughout our lives. And then we become confused and corrupted in our youth. And we just become jaded. So
Mm.
to become an awakened spiritual being, you have to like understand consciousness and meditation so that you heal your mind and your heart in such a way that no matter the outer circumstances in our life, we always have an inner peace. And I think this is the ultimate spiritual goal, is to always be at peace no matter what is occurring in our lives. And if you can have this superpower, which is more like a natural thing, then you are living life at the fullest. You've completely eradicated all your negative afflictions. Now you're a living Buddha. Now you're helping billions of people and also trillions of beings throughout the cosmos. Because an
Mm.
awakened being is telepathic. They can see everything. They can see the past, the future. They can see into every dimension. Their power is limitless. And we all have this nature within us. This is what
Mm.
all of the ascended masters have discovered for us. And then not only just for them, but for us, like you and me. We
Yeah,
can walk
totally. Yeah,
the path. It's
yeah,
not difficult. It just requires us to realize, hey, there is a path. Let's walk.
yes, yeah,
And
totally.
you go through practice for the rest of your life.
It's so interesting though, because like some of the paths are traps. But no, I think it's just great that on the darkness and the stuff is on there, because I feel like there's a lot where people do find it difficult to acknowledge that, and at the same time some people like will go into that aspect but not necessarily integrate the spiritual teachings that are available to us right now. So there's this, and then I was just getting this Vandana Shiva quote that I read, and I just thought this is so on point. She says, "A spirituality without activism is empty, and activism without spirituality can get misguided." And so it's like finding a way to unify it, because yeah, otherwise if you see there's dark, if you end up in the dark place, like there's so much spiritual truth that can help to balance, and like you say, to bring light into understanding what's really happening, and it can get you in a place of anger, and you know what I mean, all
Oh,
sorts.
absolutely. Like if you
Yeah.
just turn on the TV for 5 minutes, it can drive anybody crazy, especially like people who are like spiritually awakened. So that's why
Yeah.
I just cut out TV from my life for years and years. I just don't watch it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's helped me. It's helped me become a deep researcher who looks to, you know, conscious people for my information rather than turning on
Mm,
the media and just getting trash every day, which just
I
makes you
like that.
so depressed and it makes you just like so disgusted with reality. I don't understand why people still watch television. It's just so bewildering to
Mm,
me that people can actually stand all that violence and
yeah.
negative reporting on everything that doesn't even it's not even important, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Conditioning.
the media is trying their best to really keep our planet in a negative state of consciousness so that they can have control over every aspect of our lives. And all of the world governments are also in on this. And it just happens to be that the more you the more you try to like strangle humanity, the more we are going to escape and awaken as a
Mm,
mass consciousness, as a collective consciousness. And
yeah.
that's what's been happening over the past 10 years. And it just keeps
Yeah.
getting quicker and quicker and quicker. More and more people are awakening. More and more people are realizing the truth of reality, all the lies of our governments and medias and institutions and corporations. Now people are looking for a spiritual answer for their healing instead of giving their power to negative corporations. And the more that we are in tune with our heart, mind, and body, spirit, the more we are liberated from all the negative aspects of this world, literally. So, I mean, my job is to just point people in the most positive path that's able to quickly and swiftly help them awaken to a better life so they can manifest all their dreams quickly so that they can get in and get out of this world and go to better places without having to be reborn into this, what they call a rat cage, 9 to 5 rat cage. I don't want to come back.
I know. Do you know what? So many people have said that. It's just like, wow, there's definitely something there, you know. But how was it for you when you first were discovering all of this stuff? Because you were, yeah, 10 years ago. Because that's kind of sounds like the first place you entered, right? So, what was your experience at the time?
for me, it was more of like a fun ride rather than like being skeptical of everything and trying to like keep my
Mm-hmm.
ego of who I was. Because I was an art student, and
Mm.
as an art student, you have a mind that is able to easily deconstruct reality,
Oof.
and you can you can
I
see
love that.
through the junk of
Why do you think that is?
society.
As an art
What was it?
student, why do you think that you said as an art student you can deconstruct reality? Why do you associate those together?
Because as an art student, you're taught to think in ways that is not conventional to mainstream ways of thinking about reality. You know, just for an
So,
example, artists are the people who are able to see between the lines of media, of government, of institutions, of just this baggage of society that people think is the real way, but actually there's so many other ways. So going through art school, my mind was already able to accept. Like, for example, the very first truth that I came across was like the 9/11,
yeah.
the world of 9/11. Okay. I was like pretty young in college when I was like fascinated with Loose Change 9/11, which was the first documentary, the best one about it. And as I was getting into it, I could see friends who were into it or who were just like, no way, not having anything to do with that kind of stuff. And then I
Yeah.
realized this is going to be a journey where you have to go all in by yourself. And
Oof.
the friends that remain are the friends that, hey, they can hang. So I realized that really young that this would be a journey that would require me to be totally confident and safe in my solitude, my aloneness. And it took me all the way to this moment of my life where now I'm living the life that I couldn't have ever imagined as a yogi, just meditating and practicing Dharma. And now along the path far enough where I'm able to begin teaching people how to meditate, how to attain enlightenment, how to see the truth of reality. And if you rewind, back 15 years, I would never have thought I'd be having this podcast with you today. It's just so
Mm.
beyond what I could have ever imagined. But when you take that first step and pursue that which makes you so curious, it's going to lead you to the perfect life.
So
It's
what
that
did
first
you?
mentor, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
If you choose to take it, it will lead you on a life that you could have never imagined, a better life that's just beyond your limited view.
Yes, so true.
Correct.
What did you, I'm curious, what did you imagine your life would be like? Or did you not?
I just thought I would be like a famous artist in LA, making money, living in Silver Lake with a nice condo,
Okay.
whatever, along the beach, something like that. Never in my
Yes.
life that I envisioned like leaving it all behind, throwing away everything that I
Mm.
ever built living in LA, coming to Thailand, and just living in a meditation retreat by myself for the past 5 years.
Wow,
And,
5 years. Amazing.
and now I'm just like coming back into the city. I'm staying in Bangkok, I told you this year. And I'm helping to build the first Vajrayana temple in Thailand. And Vajrayana is the teachings of Buddhism that have to do with attaining enlightenment in one lifetime as a yogi. And a lot of these yogis who practice this specific esoteric path of Buddhism, they are known to have amazing cities, supernatural abilities. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what really
Cities.
fascinated me. And if you look on the Great Awakening map, this is in the section known as the rainbow body under Tibetan
Mm.
Buddhism.
Yes.
Rainbow body is the most fascinating thing on the map. And it's when an enlightened being dies, their body disappears into pure light, pure like rainbow light body activation. And their consciousness travels to a higher dimensional realm, and they never had to be reborn back on Earth. It's a very highest level of enlightenment. And these beings, these monks and lamas and yogis who attain this state of consciousness, they still live and exist today. And that's why I'm so fascinated with this topic. That's why I dedicated my life to practicing this esoteric path of Dharma. And I encourage everybody to have like an interest into this, because you're going to learn about your light body. You're going to learn about all the miraculous things that the human body can do, all the miracles and secret abilities that exist within you. Just that you have to practice and study meditation with, with the teacher. Yeah, this is a very amazing path. So if anybody wanted to know what the most fascinating thing on the map to me was, this is it. This path of enlightenment, studying Dharma, walking Dharma, is something that everybody is able to practice. It's not just for lamas and monks, everybody.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think, sometimes you can just get lost in finding out all the things, but it's nice to know that actually this, like, the spiritual aspect of the foundation is actually really important, like we were saying. But I had the rainbow. I feel like there's a lot of like very hidden information in Buddhism.
Oh, absolutely.
But the rainbow body is very cool. I heard that like that's kind of one way to do it is after death. But what's happening now is that some of us are doing it now, like in the body.
Right.
But you're right, it's fascinating.
There's many stages of the rainbow body. Some enlightened beings attain rainbow body before death, and you can actually see them in their normal body still, but etherically their light body is already activated. All the negative impurities have been cleared from their aura and their self. So it's not only Buddhists that can attain light body, it's Hindus, Christians, Sufi. There's so many Taoisms, and there's a lot of spiritual traditions where masters have attained this light body. And that's the most fascinating thing that I think anybody can take away from studying the Great Awakening map, is that these human abilities are our birthright. Everybody should know how to practice
totally
and become our full potential.
Totally.
Everything else is a distraction.
Yeah, man. Yes.
Yeah.
No, but it's wild because you learn about it and you're just like, wait a minute, like we've been hidden from it for so long, we've been dumbed down, our body is so different now. So, and then it's just like, wow, you're right, like everyone should know like that. And also I feel like it's a science. Ultimately, there's a science behind it. It's not just this like idea over there, this concept, you know what I mean? It's like, no, this is actually like real physiology of who we are.
Exactly. In the metaphysical New Age community, there's a lot of great truths out there. But I think that if you are truly wanting to attain a light body or attain enlightenment in this lifetime in some way, all the teachings are already there. We just have to pursue what is known as Dharma. And until we do that, I think everything else is a big distraction. And like you said, there's a lot of paths that go down the dark ways. And a lot of people go down these paths, and sometimes they get out, and sometimes they get stuck. But I've seen it, for so many years. So many things that are like, they sound good, but then when you try to like practice it or attain it, it's like there's not really a way to do it.
It's not. Yes, confusing. Oh my word, this is one thing I learned. Like a lot of the time you're in the confusion, you don't know you're in it until you get out of it, and then it's like,
It years. Yeah.
Huh?
It could take years,
Yeah, it can take years, totally.
Sometimes people practice these obscure meditation techniques that they think is helping them, but in the end, it's not really doing anything to liberate them from samsara, which is like, it's very sad. But
Yeah,
I've
that's
seen it.
true.
I've seen it
Yeah,
so many times.
but one of the things that I think as well is like, I don't know, just to, because I feel like it might even happen with meditation or yoga or whatever. We've seen it, like just to do one thing is like, okay, cool, but like sometimes it's a facade. You have to do the work, like, you know what I mean? You have to integrate it into your life, like the Dharma, like the meditation, like you're saying. It's not just to sit over there, you know. It's like bringing it back all together.
I think you become a better person in terms of like, you become fearless. And then
Yeah,
once you are
totally.
fearless, you're able to like help
Mm.
way more people than you would have when you were just like bumbling through life with blindfolds on. So that's the whole point of like yoga and meditation, is that you're overcoming fear to the point where now you can literally do anything that you want. All your dreams come true much quicker. You manifest much quicker. And now you are helping billions of people rather than just like a few people in your house.
Yeah, I like that you say that because, to be honest, I don't think many people put those together. Do you know what I mean? Like going to yoga, you know, whatever, going to breath work. It's not necessarily correlated to fear. You know what I mean? But it's a big one. The fear is huge. It's just everywhere. Like it's yeah. And that other thing as well. I feel like some people just get into another cage, and it's just like, oh, that's just another cage.
What is it that you found like fascinating on your spiritual journey to get you to this point right here talking to me about these things? How did you get here?
Yeah, good question. So for me, similarly, was health related, like the beginning, and then that it just set so many things like this. Nothing is as it seems. Things, you know, there's so much that we're not being told here, and then it was more of it
Nice.
was. Uh,
I like how you said just things aren't what they seem.
yeah, that's been a big thing, and then I was gonna say now. Yeah, for me it was more spiritual. So there was a lot of meditation. I went into Buddhism and
Oh, really?
yeah,
Fascinating.
went into
That's a
plant
very rare
medicine.
thing to find.
It's not a rare thing. What did you say?
It's a very rare thing to find. Anybody
Yeah,
who has crossed paths with the Dharma.
yeah, yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
Probably why we met.
Yeah, maybe. And then what else was it? Oh yeah, then I went to plant medicine. But to be honest, I kind of just like left all the structures and just like kind of continued. And then I found this Kalontic science, and then that just went when I was like, oh my word. I don't know if you've heard of that. But then even that, I'm just kind of like, cool, coasting.
It seems like you're a veteran in this game. You've been here before many lives, and now you're just like, ah,
Yeah.
ready to go back to my higher dimensional realm.
That's so funny. But I think mainly like with the Colontic science, I think for me there was a huge moment of just like realizing that this like what's been happening is totally intergalactic, and like again so much is hidden from us about who we are, and again it was all about this like ascension through the body, and then you know coming online, so to say, and that yeah totally that is what really fascinated me, and then also having like certain experiences myself and just being like wow this is real, like you know. And it's amazing because you're just like Fudge, I get it, like there is a trajectory, there is a
Yeah, like
progression
why
and
doesn't anybody
evolution.
else see this?
Yeah, yeah, and it's fascinating because it's like it's so hidden, but it's also right here. And when I was younger, I used to play that game. I can't remember what it's called, but it was like a book, and then they ask you certain questions, and it was like on this traveler on this journey, and it's like you bump into this person, and they say this, and they offer you this. What do you choose? A, go to page. Da, da, da.
Oh yes, choose your own adventure. I love those.
Yeah, I used to love it. I used to love those books. What's it called?
Choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's like turn to page 6 if you want this character to, open the door, or turn to page
Yes.
27 if you don't want them to open the door.
Yeah. And I just feel like that's been the journey, that's been the whole thing, you know? It's just been like, oh, and it's like very mysterious. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about your skin. So what happened in the process from when you kind of discovered? Did you manage to find solutions and
Yeah, eventually, like, my skin cleared up and I stopped having the really bad acne attacks. It just involved simple things like changing my diet, meditating, avoiding avoiding bath products that were not organic.
mm,
So like lotion, shampoo, everything that touches my skin has to be organic, as
mm.
well as the laundry detergent that you use, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
toxic things in life, and it's also the number one thing that makes you dumb.
You
So
know what?
if you are constantly breathing those toxins your entire life, and it's touching your body your entire life, all those toxins are constantly going through your life from some
So
dumb
true.
corporation. So throw out all your bath and beauty products, and make sure your laundry detergent all the way to your lotion, shampoo is all organic. And this will quickly raise your vibration and your consciousness. And then you're going to start finding a path through life where your dreams start to manifest quicker. Because now all of the toxins are out of your life. Now your mind and your heart is more in tune to the cosmos, and now quicker you're pulling in
Mm,
the
mm.
dream timeline of your life. It was blocked and hidden before because all of the junk in your body. So once you detox, you start manifesting dreams quicker. You start making more money miraculously. You just have money coming to you. You have good people coming to you. You are in a good environment. Everything just starts working, and it's all from just doing the simple thing of changing your
Oh, I love
toothpaste.
that. Your
Yeah,
toothpaste.
it's true. It's totally
Oh my
serious.
God. I found this amazing toothpaste. It's literally the best I've ever had. Like literally, and it's powder. I've never seen it before,
Oh
but
my
like,
gosh, I probably tried that before on my journey through the organic world.
but
Yeah, it was
I
awesome.
know I really appreciate this what you're saying here because one thing as I'm listening to you is what is like when you're detoxing your body, you're detoxing like the energy and the stuckness and the things from past lives and everything. So it's so important. Like it's such an important part, especially like you're saying, if you want to call things in and manifest. It's like if you've got things there, it's not gonna. But the detoxing is the how.
So what you're trying to do is like you're trying to stop these negative corporations from like killing yourself. So of course, I mean, I'm going to choose organic food and
Yeah.
fluoride toothpaste. So,
But it's
yeah.
so fascinating because I feel like there's also like this strange connotation with it where it's like, um, oh, like it's too much, like to go into that amount of detail with your life and your, do you know what I mean? It's just like, oh yeah, but like, and it's just like I don't know. For me personally, I feel like that's literally it. You have to, and you want to,
Yeah.
because you want to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's addicting. You just want to make yourself more and more and more detox to the point where it's like you made it. Now
Mm.
you can now you can see, now you can breathe for the first time in your life. Now you know who you
Yes.
are.
Wow.
You're not in the
Yes.
matrix anymore.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
literally escaped the matrix. And now you can just do whatever you want. Before you were just
Mm.
trapped, and now you're free. That's all. That's what it's all about. And they don't want us to be
Mm.
free. They want us to be working for them till we die.
Yeah. Yeah. And also the levels are like it has got that bad that we have to like find these other solutions. And there's a lot like this as like all the things you mentioned. You know what I mean? That we kind of just like might take for granted. But yeah, you know what? I could never. I hate the smell of washing detergent in clothes. Like it's so
Toxic. Yeah.
strong.
It
Yeah.
closes your third eye. It's so bad. The vibration of it is just so low. I don't know how other people don't see it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. But that's so cool, and I love that that is like how you realized, yeah, everything with your skin, and it's I guess it's just realizing that you have to take it seriously. You know what I mean?
It's a holistic approach to healing. You are literally doing everything you can and including changing your environment so that you can be more beautiful, happy, and healed, and just stress free, not worrying about looks, physical features. That stuff is like very annoying for like introverts and for star seeds and light workers. We are like kind of shy people. We want to make sure like everything's looking good. Okay, I can go out in public and I can do my thing.
I love that.
Once that's taken care of, it's like okay, now I can work on the things that really matter, like making money and you know finding my career path, whatever. It's all related. It's just
It's true. I like you say that things that are important, like making money, because yeah, that we're still here in the system where we have to do that. You know?
security
Yeah.
and comfort
Security.
is very important. Once we have the security and the comfort and food, just the basic necessities of house and
Yeah.
food, once we have that, we can comfortably pursue the spiritual path. If we don't have those two
Mm.
things, it's very difficult to want to meditate or read spiritual books all day long or study about UFOs.
Mm.
So I encourage everybody to make sure that your living situation and your food is easy,
Yeah.
easily
I
come by.
love that.
Once you do
That
that, you can go all in on aliens.
that is so good. I love that. And again, it's something that you kind of like overlook. You know what I mean? Because this is just like such a part of your everyday life. But I remember one of my friends once said to me years ago, home first, then everything else. And I
There
was
it
like,
is.
oof,
Perfect.
right?
Because for the yogi, what we do is we get rid of everything in our life that is a distraction, and the only thing that we need is like a place to sleep at night and food.
Mm.
And because
Yeah.
I was able to get these two things very cheap in Thailand, I was able to spend literally my entire time just focused on Dharma, studying Dharma, practicing meditation in nature every day, and then when I had time, I would travel around Thailand, visiting mountains and caves and temples, and just living as simple as possible so that I could have all the time to study Dharma. That's what I've been doing for the past 5 years. So it's about cutting out all of that excess junk of the matrix that's just draining you of money and time and
Energy.
just try to cut out as much as you can. Like the only bill I have to pay is like phone bill, electricity. Everything else is like don't have. Like in America, you'd have insurance for everything, and you'd have all of this
Mm.
wasteful junk of like subscriptions to this and that and
Sucking
bills,
you.
rent. It's just like oh my gosh, matrix stuff.
Mm.
But when you pursue a life of simplicity, you become so much more happier with less.
Yes, with less. So what was your what, so 5 years ago, so that's like halfway through this process for you, I guess. So 5 years you went deep in learning all about all these things that are happening in the world, and then your healing as well. You embarked on that journey, and then what happened? What was the kind of trigger into like I want to get out of LA and leaving there?
Oh, that happened about 5 years ago when I was at the point in my life in my art career. I had already shown in like galleries in Los Angeles and been sort of like recognized in a way that was like, okay, I'm over this. I need to pursue Dzogchen. Dzogchen is the type of esoteric Buddhist meditation that I practice.
Mm.
It's called Dzogchen. So I wanted to become a Dzogchen yogi, and I was like, I'm just wasting my life here in the Matrix. I need to become a yogi. I want to practice meditation. I want to attain the light body. I want to become enlightened. I want to help all beings. This was just on my mind, on my heart. And once I came to Thailand, I was like, okay, I'm staying here because my ethnicity is Thai. So my mother had already had a small home here in the tiny little village that she grew up in. So I was like, hey, this is perfect. I'm just going to live in this house. Thanks, Mom. And I turned it into my meditation retreat. My mom lives in America. She doesn't care about this house. So I'm like here now in her tiny home where she grew up, the village in Thailand, somewhere in the boonies. It became my meditation retreat for 5 years. And during that time, I just received teachings online from other lamas because it was COVID at that time. Nobody was seeing each other.
Oh,
Everything was
yes.
Zoom
Yeah.
calls, you know. So I was receiving all of these really advanced Dzogchen teachings from all of these lamas around the world. And I was just practicing and practicing. And now here I am. I'm in Bangkok now. I'm going to be helping to build first Vajrayana temple in Thailand, teaching Dzogchen to Thai people for the first time in the history of Buddhism. Because in Thailand, Buddhism has been here for hundreds of years, but the type of meditation they practice is known as vipassana.
Oh, yeah. I did that course.
Me too. And
Yeah.
it's a basic practice that everybody should have before they pursue the path of Dzogchen, for example.
Okay.
So I think Thai people will benefit greatly if they have this more esoteric tantric path of Buddhism, as well as practicing, what's already been here for
Yes.
centuries. It's just only going to help bring more joy and enlightenment to all beings. Because Thai people can handle it. They're really smart people. They understand consciousness. They understand meditation. So bringing the path of Tantra from Vajrayana into Thailand and making it an official part of the Buddhism here, it's a very historic project that I'm working on. And I just happen to be a Dzogchen yogi. I just happen to be able to help Thai people find this path and either teach them or show them other lamas where they can receive instruction from. So this is my journey now, and it's probably the coolest thing I could have never imagined. It all started from taking the red pill. Never underestimate the red pill.
I love that. That's so cool. I love that you just were like, I'm done. Like, I'm over this LA thing. Like, that's so cool.
So done.
Did you feel like sometimes that it was like you were chasing this thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was never enough, and it was never satisfying, because in my mind, in my heart, the rainbow body was the most important thing, and
Wow.
everything else is just a waste of life. That's how I felt. And I'm that type of extreme kind of person. I'm a Gemini. So we are like really extreme in that aspect where when we focus on something, we're going to go maximum all in. Whereas all the other things in our life are just going to like fall away.
Yeah.
Like Geminis can't like focus on one thing very well in their life. They have all these projects open, but they never finish them. But this is the one project in my life where I'm like, I'm going all in. Nothing is more important than like going to the Pure Lands when I die. Nothing is more important than studying about the rainbow body and helping other people realize this. People don't know that they can become a light body. Just like terrifying to even think about going through life not knowing that you are an infinite being of light, a Buddha.
Yeah. But it's so
We're all
amazing.
Buddhas by nature. We're all born Buddhas by nature.
Yeah.
It's just trying to rediscover that in this life is a whole path. You don't even have to call it Buddha. You can just call it awakened being.
Mm.
A perfectly healed being, if you want to call it that. That's what it is. Mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally healed.
I mean, yeah, it's so interesting because I feel like when, I don't know, I think that there are going to be people more and more people who are going to actualize this state of being, you know? I don't know when, because it's so interesting because I'm just like, even me personally, my own healing, it's like, cool, the healing's still coming, you know? But it's amazing to know when you find out, when you know. It's just, yeah, like I remember the first times when I was just like, wow. I just remember the first times I was like, fudge, everything that I believed when I was a kid is real. Like this imagination, you know, it's just like, oh, not a fantasy, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Harry Potter is real, Star Wars is real. All of those
Yeah.
fantasy movies are real.
Yes.
And because I was a Star Wars fan for my whole life as a child, I
Yes.
loved the Jedi, I loved the Force, and when I had my spiritual awakening, I realized that all of the Tibetan monks, they actually are the Jedi. They can do all the
Yes.
things that you see in the movie. And I was like so inspired and so life changed that it became my obsession to figure out how they do this and why it
Uh,
even happens. Like, what is the science, physics involved with it? How does it work? How does consciousness defy gravity, defy matter? How do they live like for hundreds of years? How do they walk through cave walls? How do they levitate? How do they become bodies of light? All of these things were fascinating to me, and it's just so obvious to me. Like, yeah, of course, this is the way to travel. This is the way to live your life, to be inspired by these beings and to learn in their footsteps. And then not only are you helping yourself, but you're helping all the sentient beings on this planet. That is the
yeah.
ultimate positive karma. Yeah.
There's a storm right now. It's really loud. I'm like,
Oh, how exciting.
so, yeah, wow, fascinating. So when did you create the map?
That that happened back in 2018
Oh, interesting, yeah.
when I lived in LA.
Huh.
Just one of those things that you do as a graphic designer. You just have all of these random projects. And one day I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to make this really cool meme that will have all of the secrets that I learned about for the past 10 years. And I just made the intention, but I made it a very, very like intentional intention to do it. It was like, okay, universe, help me make something that will change the world instantly. Let me put all of my knowledge that I've learned these past 10 years into something that is going to awaken humanity. And that's how, that's how the map was created. It was just it was just an everyday typical art piece that I do all the time. But this one just happened to change the world. Millions of people have seen it.
Mm, that's so cool. And so it first started off as a meme.
Absolutely.
Wow. So interesting, 2018. And was it like back in 2018 that, like, how has it grown over time? Like, was it a lot of people at the beginning or was it slow?
It's like a little bit of both. In the first
Mm.
3 years, it was highly shared on social media to the point where all of my social media accounts got censored. My Twitter was shut down, my Squarespace, my Patreon, several
What?
Instagram accounts.
Oh
Yeah,
my days, I didn't know this.
of course. It's one of the most censored art pieces in history.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my word, that's amazing.
It's amazing. It's because of all of the secrets that are in it. The
That
big
you've
corporations
revealed.
don't want you to know. They don't want you to know anything on that map.
Dude, that's so deep. Wait, rewind. So so what, 2018 you released it,
Yeah.
and it was
And then
shared.
2019, 2021, that's when all the censorship was occurring across
Uh,
America and on social media. And that was the time when people were really like going deep into the topics on the map.
yeah.
And now it's the year 2023. So there has been a resurgence of the map recently because a lot of the censorship that was strong during Trump's
Mm.
presidency, a lot of those fact checkers and all of those obsessed like social media companies, they've sort of like laid low over the past year, and now they're not like censoring as much information. So my map is able to like be
Yeah.
reshown on like even like TikTok censors it. So like it's slowly coming back, and I'm hoping that it's going to become even more well known. I mean, countless people have already found it, but there's still billions of people who haven't even
Yes.
come near it. So the potential of the map is still there, and
Yeah.
I'm learning that there's like 16 languages that have been translated. So that map has been around the world in 16 languages, probably 25 languages by the end of this year. People are just spreading it across every country because they're learning about all of the government conspiracies, all the government cover-ups in their own country, and they're realizing it's all interconnected with America and the militaries of the world, ETs, inner Earth beings, inner Earth militaries,
Spirituals.
whatever you want to say, it's all
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that's the one thing that's so great because I basically had it on my desktop on my phone, and I'm just curious to see.
Don't
Yeah.
lose it.
Mm. Yeah, just curious to see like who is like, oh my word, like because obviously some people who don't really know the stuff, some of the stuff on that, or a lot of the stuff on that, are they like, ooh, what's this?
Yeah, a lot of street artists around the world will print the map really big, and then they'll like plaster it across cities in like
That's very
South
cool.
America and Europe
That's
and
very cool.
Mexico. Like
Oh my God, I
it's
love
really
that.
amazing. I love it
Yeah.
too. Like to see it in a street art context is like a dream come true. I can only
Oh,
hope that more and more people find the map in those type of interesting ways that where it just changes your life like instantly on the street. You just
yes.
you never return back
But
to the same person.
what a beautiful like story. I love it because for me, like I'm a musician and I sing, and it's just like I just love your why behind the creation. Like this is why, and the intention that you set. And I don't know, I resonate deeply because it's like this is the purpose. This is why we're doing it. This is why we create. You know what I mean?
I mean, I love
Oh,
your art
so,
and your music. I looked
oh,
through your social media, and I was like, this is awesome. Like to meet with artists like you is the whole point of like these podcasts. Like we are both artists, and we're both sharing our spiritual journey, and other
yes,
people, maybe 10 people, maybe 10 million people, they will be inspired, and they'll have their lives change, and they'll also make art about their spiritual awakening, and it's just going to
yes,
keep going around the world
yeah, so
endlessly.
deep.
That's the whole point of this.
That is the whole point. And also, it's just like, obviously we know the commercial side of art and music, and I don't know, it just feels so distorted. So, just like, I don't know. So, yeah, it's really cool to connect with other souls that are on the same sharing process. But that's so cool. So, and then what was the censorship like that you experienced?
It was like the most ridiculously sad thing that I've ever seen in my life. It's because these corporations that are censoring the map, they don't know that the map contains everything that they need in life to become a perfect enlightened being. They're literally throwing away something that they don't understand simply out of fear and out of ignorance. And ignorance is said to be the worst evil in reality. Ignorance creates destruction. And these corporations are destroying that which is here to help save the world, to save the world from themselves. So it's very dumb, it's very sad, it's like pathetic when you see these social media companies trying to censor spiritual awakening knowledge. It just goes to show how much confusion they are living in, and we should have sympathy and compassion for these beings, and hopefully wish and pray that they awaken so that they stop censoring art, the human endeavor, the human soul. You know, they're literally just destroying themselves, but they can't see it. So I mean, we just keep going on doing what we do as artists. We never give up.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, it's so cool. I love that you also just like, nah, screw this, I'm done. Because I feel like definitely as an artist, there's like this want to be seen. Do you know what I mean? But then at the same time, it's all part of the journey, and it's just like it's a wild journey, you know.
When I was in the Los Angeles art scene and I was displaying my work in galleries, people weren't having like spiritual awakening experiences when they were seeing my work. And I was like, I need to find another faster way to convey all of the information that I've been researching for the past 10 years. And that's when I started going to Instagram and started posting memes through like, you know, the art of memeing. And that's eventually when the idea of creating like the map came to me. Because through memes, you're conveying a large body of information within 1 second. And usually in a very funny way. And the aesthetic of memes is like this very de-skilled, sloppy kind of look, which I really love to play with. The term is de-skilled. Okay. So the meme aspect of awakening humanity was like this very fun way of finding a new form of art where I could express myself as a graphic designer and as a contemporary artist and as this consciousness researcher, metaphysical junkie, psychedelic, psychonaut. All of these things came together perfectly, and they could be launched through memes on Instagram, and it would help people awaken. It would help them laugh. It would help them realize, oh my God, I'm not alone.
Yes.
Other people are crazy, right?
Yeah, that one definitely.
And then within those memes, you just give little bits of truth, and then the truths get more deep and deep and deep until you're talking about like government conspiracies, ET bases on Mars.
Yeah.
The list goes on and on.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. I was gonna ask you something now. I feel like, that's what I was gonna say. I love what's happening now because I feel like at a certain stage in the timeline in the past, it was more subtle. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of like, I definitely felt that, but I guess it's also just part of the journey. Like coming forward and speaking so boldly was quite rare. You know what I mean? It's more just like packaged in a certain way. And now, I love that you said like, you know, people weren't getting what you wanted from your art as you were kind of your original intention. So it was like, let's find a way to like rapid slipstream, you know? And it's so cool that I feel like that's definitely happening more and more. It's just like boom. But it's amazing that you can also present yourself like that. And I wanted to ask you, how do you feel? Because I feel like there's such a connotation with like being associated with any of the things that you've like put on the map, like with so many of the things. How has your experience been with that? Like just coming forward boldly and just saying, you know, this, I know this, you know?
Once you take the red pill, it's like you're already all in. Like you don't care what people say. You don't. You have this spiritual confidence that you know the path is more important than what people judge you as, because they're just seeing it from their own limited
Mm.
mindset as well. So a lot of rap artists come to me and they love rapping about all the memes that I post and all of the
Oh,
topics on the Great Awakening map. For artists like yourself, who's a singer, and you are able to like talk about these topics in ways that people aren't going to catch right away, but you're slipping it in
yes,
there. So I mean,
subliminal kind of.
it's like what we do as an artist and as singers
Yes,
and
true.
writers. And it's a time. It's a time
Yeah,
to create.
it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree. Love it. But then, did you have any experiences with people that, like, I mean, I guess everyone, not, well, a lot of us definitely over the past few years anyway, in general, there's been like this whole splitting and,
Oh, absolutely. There are people who attack the map every day on Instagram, but those people are, like I said, they're only seeing reality from their limited point of their life. And maybe in a year or two, maybe they become Buddhas. I mean, who am I to judge? So I
yes.
always I always look at everybody in that aspect. Their ignorance is the catalyst to their awakening. So
Mm,
yeah, they
true.
are seeing very negative comments, but maybe in a year or two they'll realize, hey, they were wrong, and then they're becoming changed people now, finding
And
more and more fact reality.
yeah, was there any like personal friendships or, 'cause sometimes I feel like, you put something forward and then some people might distance themselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I literally don't talk to any of my friends that I used to hang out with when I lived in America.
Oh, wow.
Uh, it doesn't bother me because they're always there on social media if I want to talk to them, but physically seeing them and hanging out with them is not possible anymore because my consciousness, my vibration, and my life path is so foreign to what they could have ever
Mm,
envisioned for themselves or for myself. So losing those friends wasn't something that was a negative aspect of my awakening. It was just a part of growing and growing wings and going to a new country and finding new people and
mm,
new circumstances that were more in harmony with my vibration, my conscious level of being. And every
mm.
day, it changes. I meet new people every day. People drop out of my life every day. It's just constant process of growing,
Yeah,
being born and dying, and being born and dying, rebirth and dying. It's just a constant process of life, the
yeah,
impermanence of all things. It's a very
totally.
beautiful truth of life. If you
Yeah,
embrace it, you will be happy. If you don't embrace it, you will be very depressed.
struggle. Yeah, yeah, good point. I mean, it's definitely, I feel like part of anyone who's on this journey has experienced some kind of level of that happening. And
Oh, absolutely. But you shouldn't be afraid. It's just part of spiritual awakening. It's a
yeah,
it's a
exactly.
signpost that you're going on the right path.
Mm, love it. And then what about your parents? Are they just
Yeah, my parents, they live in California still. Like, they are totally cool with my life as long as I'm happy. They don't
amazing?
care what I do. So I'm like, thank you. I'm so blessed to
That's
have a great,
amazing.
great mommy and daddy. So that's very helpful. They never pressured me to like be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, a dentist, things that I could never have imagined. They didn't pressure me anything. They just said, be happy. And it helped me become this person. So that's very important.
Mm,
Very important for them to have given me so much freedom and trust. I'm the only child
mm,
too. That's probably why it was easy.
that's amazing. Yeah, another thing I was going to say is that it's interesting because sometimes I feel like in some spiritual kind of groups, and maybe even like in Buddhism, I don't know, it's like amazing that you've come to the kind of place you are and the knowledge that you have now. Because I feel like sometimes Like, if you just look at the maps, you know, for example, in the Buddhist communities, there's probably loads of people that have no idea about all those things. You know what I mean? Like, it's so interesting, but it's cool that you have, you know?
I think it's really important for Buddhists to understand the darkest aspects of our reality. Therefore,
Yes.
they'll be better suited to help all beings.
Mm.
Because they always say, we want to help all beings, we want to make people happy. But if they really understood the dark aspects of our governments and what's really happening to like children and the darkest aspects of our reality, it will help empower them to truly
Mm.
see why this world really needs their help, why they really need to
Mm.
become enlightened for the benefit of all beings. I think it gave me a more stronger catalyst than if I had not known these dark aspects of our reality. Now I just want to help people even more. So
Mm.
I think it's good to know all of the nitty gritty
Yeah.
aspects of the dark side, because then you then it's easier to find the light. I think the more darkness, the brighter the light will shine.
Mm.
Candle, the candle can illuminate darkness instantly. It doesn't require years and years of like warming up. Once you light a candle, the entire room is full of illumination.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it's so cool. Like, yeah, it's very interesting because I mean, obviously, we come across everyone's path is very unique, you know. But I just think that yeah, sometimes there's a lot of like bypassing going on, you know, of not being able to see what's really happening in the dark side of it, you know. But yeah, it's very cool that you've managed to incorporate. I don't know, it feels like very balanced. Obviously, but still, you know what I mean? Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. But obviously,
Yeah,
you've had to do it yourself. I mean, everything in your life has led to this moment, and it seems
yeah.
like you are an amazing person. So you've also had to go through, you know,
Mm.
the stage play of life
Stage.
to get to this moment. I know you've had your ups and downs and your magical moments and miracles as well.
Yeah, and on it continues. Yeah,
Absolutely,
that's
a
what I
great
wanted.
journey.
Yeah, it's sometimes I'm just like it's so wild that like the reality is so inverted that like so many people don't know and like do you know what I mean that the realness of you know it's just like wow but then I'm like fuck, obviously I came here like I'm here you know this life man this human experience it's just like obviously but at the end of the day sometimes I reflect it's like we're experiencing everything so you know be prepared everything's possible.
Yeah, we are literally becoming more and more awakened to our true nature each moment. And the closer we get to the end of our lives, the more we become infinitely connected to one another. Our earth is also ascending,
Yes.
and as she ascends, our consciousness is also ascending, which is
Mm.
making everything occur faster.
Yes.
We're learning information faster. We are realizing truths that we've never known before faster. It's all coming to a singularity where everything is just going to change forever. It's called the event. Who knows what it's going to look like, but we are coming closer and closer to this event each and every moment, and everybody can feel it.
Dude, and yeah, it's wild. I totally hear that, and it's yeah, what it is. I keep hearing the event, And it's like, what is the event?
It's literally within each and every one of us. It's not something outside, it's something internal as well. And the moment that we all awaken, then we are starting to understand this interconnectedness, this
Mm,
infinite potential within every moment. It's not something that out there, it's always been in here, right
mm,
now, very moment.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I really appreciate your. It's very Buddhist, I guess, the whole like altruistic side of just like, wanting to share this with and like shine light for others. I feel like sometimes that can completely be misconstrued into like the God complex, but it's really not what
First,
that's about.
it's good to heal yourself first, and then you can help other beings.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not a selfish thing to love yourself and heal yourself and
Mm.
awaken yourself, and then when you feel confident, you can literally become
Share.
what is known as a bodhisattva. You
Yeah.
are dedicating your life to the awakening of others.
Yeah. Which I guess is similar to like what we were saying earlier, the other beings who are supporting us through this transition.
They've always been there. It's just up to us to realize it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, do you have any other understandings of like the progression of this ascension? I find it all so fascinating. This is another thing back to your
I would just
question.
say that, like as time goes on, the years pass, we will
Hmm.
eventually have like ET contact on a global scale where everybody is like understands there are extraterrestrial beings helping our planet, helping us, living in our Earth, and then they will share their advanced technologies with our planet so that we can heal our planet like literally overnight. And then once we have these advanced technologies, we can heal our bodies and our planet, and we can heal other worlds in the cosmos, and we become a galactic civilization, and we start to interact with all of these amazing beings, inner Earth beings, outer space beings. We become a galactic planet, a galactic civilization. And I think from there, that's when we are limitless, because we'll have access to teachings from enlightened beings, ascended masters. It's just going to be a part of everyday life where we don't have to work. We don't have to worry about money. All we do is just spiritually awaken and spiritually ascend, and then we go out throughout the galaxy and do the same for all the other
Mm,
beings. It can literally happen that fast. It's just we need to realize it's already here, but the the negative powers of our planet don't want us to have it. And once
mm,
we all realize it's already here, you just have to awaken to it, then hey, it can happen overnight. I truly believe it can. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this.
yeah, I think so too. And it's I read that book series, Conversations with God, and he in one of the part he says if you wanted to remove like hunger, world hunger, you can do it overnight. You can do it now. Like it's possible. Similar thing,
Yeah,
really. Um, and then what about the like negative ETs and beings and this infiltration at the moment? How do you see that?
I've always heard from other ETs. They said that all of the evilness in our world, in our galaxy, it only accounts for like 1%. But literally, 99% of all beings in our cosmos are loving, peaceful, positive beings. It's
Mm.
just the 1% that we get caught up on. I think it's a lot more than that, but it seems to be true that the entire cosmos is a very peaceful place, but our planet is a place of great spiritual challenge,
Mm.
purposefully built that way.
Yeah. And but do you see everyone this happening for all of us, or maybe not necessarily?
Yeah, eventually, yes, but in the
Eventually,
meantime,
yeah.
slowly but surely, some people quicker than others. It's all based on their karma,
Mm-hmm.
how much good deeds they've done in this life and past lives.
Mm. I feel like the information, the knowledge that you've accrued over your journey must really support the Buddhist practice, you know?
Yeah, it does in a way, and it does not in ways as well. Like the concept of enlightenment has always been perplexing to me since my awakening. But as I became a fully dedicated Dharma practitioner, um, when I became a fully dedicated Vajrayana yogi, I realized that enlightenment is a very specific definition. And the definition is when you are fully healed of suffering within your body. You have no more afflictive emotions. That's what enlightenment means. And a being who is able to meditate and do good deeds to attain this very positive aspect of their human nature, then that's when they're able to benefit all beings in the universe. There's not one person that you aren't going to benefit as a enlightened being, an ascended master, a living Buddha. So yeah, enlightenment is a very deep, deep topic, and each religion, each spiritual school will have their own definition of it. But I think because so many Buddhists have attained light body, I think that their definition of enlightenment and their process to attain it is the most, what you would say, the most ripe spiritual path that we can all pursue right now. And you have to remember that it's not a religion, it's just a
Yeah,
state
totally.
of mind and heart that we are trying to heal. It's
Mm-hmm.
not, there's nothing religious to it at all. It's all about raising our vibe. Put it simply, raise your vibe.
Love it. Oh yeah, amazing. And yeah, what is your so cool. What is your interpretation of the process into like accruing your light body and rainbow body activation?
It revolves around this aspect known as truth.
Ooh!
There's, okay, done. I can go on and on, but
No, go on, go on.
so there's like relative truth and absolute truth.
Hmm.
Relative truth is like day-to-day truth, like this is true, A is true, B is false. But then there's something that goes beyond that, which is known as ultimate truth. And that truth is only found in meditation. It's the space between thoughts. It's the silence with or without noise. It's a dancing stillness. It's a shining darkness. It's ineffable. You can't talk about it, but it's there. This is the truth that we try to realize. It's a non-dual truth. It's not a duality of this is true, this is false. This is white, this is black. This is beautiful, this is ugly. Non-dual truth sees everything as complete. It sees the ugly, it sees the beautiful, but it doesn't judge them. It just sees them as what they are. Like if I showed you a rose, you may think it's beautiful, but to somebody else, they may hate that rose because their ex used to give them that same rose. So truth is relative, but there's also an ultimate truth, which is that non-dual nature of all objects, thoughts, emotions, feelings. Everything is non-dual. But we like to judge things as, I like this and I hate this. I like this, I hate this. The more that we do this, our mind becomes full of suffering. But if we can let go of judgment, then we are enlightened. We don't have any more suffering within our mind. If our mind is constantly judging things like, I hate him, I love him, that car is beautiful, that car sucks, I'm poor, I'm rich, this causes suffering, stress, depression, ignorance. But if we can just look at the world and appreciate everything as this open sky nature, open sky, spacious, non-judgmental, free, then we're beginning to realize this Dharma, this truth, the truth.
Yeah, no, the truth is such a strange one. The truth, my truth, it's like, but, so what did you say? There's a relative one, first of all, and,
Absolute.
but you had another one that,
It's ultimate truth, I used to say, as well as relative truth. Yeah.
okay.
The ultimate nature of things has no name, has no label. But the relative truth says this is true, this is false. There's a label attached to it.
But
And
relative as well.
Yeah, relative, you go wrong. Relative is samsara. Relative is the matrix.
It's so interesting because sometimes I feel like as well, relative can also just be depending on your experience. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Depending what you can see.
Yeah. Exactly. But usually as humans, we are not seeing the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we are throwing judgments on people and situations because we don't have the full big picture. Like for instance, if somebody cuts you off on the freeway, most people get angry. But that person may be rushing to go to the emergency room to save their mother-in-law. Something so random like that. We have to be attuned to like the big picture. And then we become more like, more chill out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, certainly.
Like, wow, okay, I'm enjoying everything instead of being reactive to everything.
Yeah. But it
It's
also
just
works. It's what?
everything is just fascinating instead of everything sucks or you know what I'm saying? Like,
Complete shift.
of
Yeah,
course.
and I feel like it also works with just like beliefs. Oh, but I don't believe that. You know what I mean? But actually
Exactly.
realizing that actually.
Especially
Oh,
religious beliefs, they can be dangerous and deadly. Those are the
yes.
worst.
Yeah, totally. And also all these truths that are coming up about the planet and the government and all of it, same thing. But so when you find the absolute truth, how is that connected to the rainbow body?
Because when you are constantly in the state of mind that's known as non-dual mind, this is called absolute reality. And at the moment of death, when your mind is in this non-dual state, that's how you attain rainbow body. That's how you travel to pure lands and higher dimensional realms that are more glorious than the most glorious heaven you can imagine.
So in your opinion now, say if we were to imagine what that would feel like or look like now,
Right now.
what? Yeah, to be an absolute reality.
It would feel absolutely ordinary, that there would be no more suffering or confusion.
Love it.
Suffering never occurs. You may have negative emotions come up, but you won't judge them as a negative emotion. You'll just see it as energy coming up and then disappearing. Like every thought, every emotion in your life. Most people judge
Ordinary.
their emotions. They say, when they feel like a negative feeling, they say, I hate this, I don't like it. But if you just know that it's going
Stop.
to rise, appear on its own, you don't have to do anything, then that is realization. You're starting to become a Buddha. Buddhists see things and go, but they don't latch onto them. You've been Buddha many times in your life. You just didn't realize that this is what a Buddha is.
Yes.
I'm sure I'm sure you've had experiences where you felt like embarrassed or like angry, but then in a few minutes it's just gone and you are like just cool, right?
Yeah.
That is a Buddha. A Buddha knows that it'll come and it'll go. Don't worry. You'll be fine in a few minutes.
Yeah.
That's the meditation. That's the non-dual meditation.
I
To be
mean,
aware of.
yeah, I love that you said it's ordinary because, I mean, that's one thing I felt on the path. The more you start to realize and like, these special kind of things that you think are so like extraordinary and special about being human, when it starts happening, it's like, oh, this just feels normal, you know?
Right. Every experience that you can have in your life is going to be impermanent. Everything comes and everything goes. But the only thing that remains, that ordinariness, is your true nature. It's perfectly happy and healed, and it doesn't need anything. And that ordinary nature is known as the Buddha mind.
Mm. And
Throughout our
also,
life, we're trying to put stuff on top of it.
yes,
We're trying to
yes.
say, this is me. I need to become this. I need to make this money. I need to have these many children. I need to travel to these many places. We're building on top of this Buddha nature, and we don't really understand that our true happiness is already at the bottom, the base, the ground, the
Yes.
ordinary. So ordinary that it's so easily overlooked.
Oof. Yes. I love that. And that's like why along the healing journey, it's like they call it coming home. Like this process.
Always. Always
Yeah.
about coming home. It's always about coming back. It's
Yes.
always about being here. It's always about
Mm.
peace in every moment.
Amazing. I, I feel like it's just going to be so wow to witness what we are going to witness, and what we are witnessing already, like for all of us in the planet. And
Yeah, already you and I have seen so much.
yeah,
You're an
yeah,
artist. You have to create music and visual
yeah,
works that
words,
share the information that you've come across.
yeah. Yeah, man, I love hearing about, because honestly, when I did see, I was like, who did this? And like, what is the reason behind it? How did it, the whole journey? And it's amazing. Thanks for sharing the process. But totally, like, I feel like it's just made me think differently about how I am sharing now as well, and like your intention as well behind it. Yeah,
Yeah, and to inspire you to create a whole new breadth of work where it's just awakening people every day with like red pills, left and right. You can do it. It's there. Everything's presented.
I love
It's
that.
up to
Thank
you.
you. It's up to me.
You can have a public artist life and you can have a private artist life, like a secret artist life.
What do you mean?
Like you would make music and art and you would use a new name and nobody would know
Ah,
it's you. And then you
yeah,
could be
yeah,
free anything you want. You would have no ego
yeah.
limitations of what Jess is supposed to do, what Jess is
I
supposed to be.
know. I mean,
You
I don't
know,
mind, to be honest. Like, I feel like I've been putting myself out there quite a lot anyway. So yeah, I think I'm also share your sentiment. Like, this is me. Like, being like open. Yeah.
you can also reinvent yourself or you can have like a rebirth like as a new
Mm,
person. You know, a lot of artists do that when they change their name or they make something under a secret name, you know, like a lot of artists
mm,
do that. A lot of writers as well. It helps them
mm,
create stuff that they otherwise wouldn't create with their birth name.
mm-hmm.
It's just something fun you might want to try as an artist.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I feel like I've been on such a transformation. Like, obviously, because the journey is reflective of what I create. So even like genre-wise, everything's changed. It's all different now. Like, but it's an amazing journey because I feel like as an artist, like my spiritual growth has been so parallel to, because like there's so much of like you say, the ego of like putting yourself forward, putting yourself out there, and then like learning that it doesn't matter what comments, good or bad, are coming in. Obviously, not everyone is necessarily like taking it in on that kind of neutral path, But for me, that's like such an important thing, is to like maintain ground, stay grounded within all of it, the change and like the releasing of it into the world.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
absolutely. Like whatever you make, whatever you create, you just put it out there and you just know that whether it changes one life or a trillion, that's up to the universe. You've already done the best that you can do. Now you just release it like this. It's like,
Mm, yeah.
let it go, and maybe in a year, it'll come back in miraculous ways. Just like the map, I just released it, and within an amount of time, it started being spread around the world, and that was my best wish, is that people see it and are inspired. If I
Mm,
can inspire one person, it's done its job. It's up to them now what they want to do with it.
yeah. I mean, it's so true. That's all you can do. Because, like, someone asked me this question as well. Like, and I was like, at the end of the day, there's only so much I can do. Like, I've created it, I put it out there, and like, you know, I can't force the hand.
But that's the fun part about trusting the universe,
Mm,
is that you, as an artist, you create and then you say, okay, now it's your turn, universe. I did my part.
mm-hmm. Yes.
Once you trust the universe, it will trust you, and then it will start giving you the dreams and opportunities that you've been asking for.
I love this conversation. So good. So when your account was censored, did you have like, was your account taken down at all, or no? It was just the map was being censored.
Everything was taken down.
I really.
It was just like them using what's the analogy? It's like using a sledgehammer to like hit a nail, or something. I forgot the analogy,
Oh
but
yeah.
they were really like destroying everything just to try to like hide one little thing.
So your
Like
account was taken.
yeah, many times, not just once, like over and over and over.
Okay, like a lot of other
Many accounts,
people. Yeah.
many social media accounts, many platforms, secret platforms, secret names I used as well. But too far, too far right or too government conspiracy ish, they'll
Yeah.
just censor you with no reason. And one day when they're taken to court, it will all come back. But until then, just leave
Yeah,
it
for
at that.
sure.
Just leave
Oh,
it at
that's.
that.
And so
Yeah.
then what happened? Like, yeah, yeah, definitely. How? So now you have to wait. Did you have to like wait until? Because I remember that was happening to a lot of people at a specific amount of time. But now it seems to be fine. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
I
mad
just
that you
kept
just
going.
keep finding. You just kept
I
doing
just
it.
kept making new accounts. I kept
Oh, I
posting.
love it.
Never give up. But there's millions of people who haven't awakened yet. There's no need to stop. Just keep
Oh my god,
going.
I love this because you know what? Some people are like, oh no, but then your account's gonna get taken out, and I just love it because I saw other people and they just kept doing it, they kept recreating it,
Yeah,
like you said, like
those
so much
guys are
stuff.
awesome. I love those guys. They make 5 or 6
Same.
minutes and they just never stop. Even if they have like no views, they still post every day like the most deepest, darkest stuffs of reality. And I salute those people.
Yeah.
They're really the true bodhisattva. They are like
Mm.
putting it all out for others.
Yeah.
Truly
Yes.
fascinating. So good.
It's so interesting though because like I like what that analogy, the real bodhisattva, because like obviously some people who don't quite see it are probably going to be like, this is annoying, like, and not realizing the levels of like bodhisattva. Do you know what I mean? Love it.
There will always be people annoyed. It's just
Yeah.
our nature to reject that which we do not know.
I know, and you know what? I know that that's what I did. I did that like back in the day. There were so many things, but when I look back on it, I realized that actually it's because I didn't understand it and I wanted to. So in that way, I was just like, no, but you know?
Right, right. Sometimes our ego doesn't want to accept the fact that we don't know something, so it just
Mm,
rejects it.
Yeah, very easily. Oh. Thank you so much. This has been such a good conversation. I love it. It's been so
Thanks
amazing to
so much,
just,
Jess. I
yeah.
truly appreciate you having me on your show. And I know you have like other amazing people on your show too. So hopefully your audience will get a big picture taste of the reality that we see, that you and I have come to know.
Mm,
And hopefully they'll be able to, maybe if they don't explore the map, maybe they'll at least find something useful in this podcast that can change their life forever. You
yeah.
know, like in future lifetimes too, you know, they'll still be
Yes.
affected from this podcast. That's the whole
Yeah.
point.
And I'm gonna put all your links down here as well, for the website and your Instagram. But yeah, two more questions before we wrap it up.
Um, I just wanted to say, like, I wanted to ask you, like, how you came to find my work and how you came to navigate through your spiritual journey until this moment. But I think that we covered so much already today. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've learned a lot.
yeah, man, same. And it's just it's so good having these conversations because it's like reigniting the spark that we
I know what
know.
you mean.
Yeah, that
I know
is
what you mean.
what we're like here for. It's amazing. But
Right, right.
yeah. So I like to ask this question to everyone on the podcast. But before I do that, I also just want to say if you had any words for anyone who might be coming into this big realization of what's happening. Do you have any final words, perhaps?
I would tell people that the deeper you dive, the more peaceful it all becomes.
Wow, that's amazing. I totally resonate with that. And it's weird because sometimes I think it might not seem like that. It
Right.
can seem the
Because
opposite.
we're so caught on the surface of the ocean where it's very choppy, there's a lot of waves. But you know, it's like the deep sea fish who are like just chilling out there, just perfectly at ease in the darkness.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
everything else is happening up here.
Yeah. It's always the peace is always there. Just keep going. Keep pursuing that which makes you the most joyful every moment. Never settle for
Mm,
less. Always pursue the best joy. The highest joy every moment will lead you to your dream life. Those who pursue joy every moment of their lives eventually realize they're living their dream life.
mm, mm-hmm. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Oh, before I go, I wanted to say I just redesigned my website again. So if they want to go to greatawakeningnmap.co, they will find all the posters, all the t-shirts, and the shop is full of like very strange items that are like hyperdimensional objects that I designed. So hopefully people will find some enjoyment from exploring my shop and my website. And we didn't
Mm.
even talk about my psychedelic journeys. That's another whole
Oh
other
my
topic.
days! No, wait, Baj, you're right. Because I really wanted to speak to you about that. Because the one podcast that I did listen, I can't remember his name, but yeah, you kind of just said you went past that. But basically, I've actually started a series now as well,
Oh yeah,
podcast.
I'm down.
Um, it's basically on the other side of psychoactive plant medicines, and it's basically people who have
Hello.
come, right? And that's so funny
Hello.
because I've completely,
My thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I completely
I
forgot to
should be
bring
on
it
that
up.
podcast before this podcast.
Really?
Yeah, I'm serious.
No, it's happening. I think a lot of people are realizing things, interesting conversations I've had with other people. Like one of my friends literally like is calling it the ayahuasca hijack, and yeah, it's just
Totally.
so interesting.
I'm totally there. I totally understand.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And yeah, also it's me.
My whole life changed because of psychedelics, and it's the reason why the map was made. It's the reason why I'm here today as a yogi wandering throughout Thailand. Psychedelics literally gave me the key to everything that I needed.
Yeah, but I love what you said on that other podcast, because you said, but it gave it to you so much that you never had to go back. Like you said something like that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there comes a time when you're like, okay, I graduated. I get the lesson.
Exactly.
There's no keep going back to that same teacher. They'll get tired of you, you know.
Exactly, and this is what
Get out.
this is the other series that I'm exploring, is like the people who have come to that kind of recognition, you know.
I think it's fun to play for a while in that realm as much as you can, and then there comes a time when you need to take a break, and then there comes a time when it's good to revisit. But for myself, I'm happy where I am pursuing this path of Dharma, and I can take this path all the way to home. Like with my DMT experiences, I saw parts of the Pure Land, and that already opened me up to Buddhism. It was because of psychedelics I found Buddhism. I saw the Buddhist Pure Lands on DMT. Like, what in the world? How did that happen? I didn't care at all about Buddhism my whole life. Why did I see Buddhist Pure Lands? And then I began my journey to figure out why. And then it led me to Vajrayana, the most beautiful, colorful Buddhism. So colorful and beautiful. All the temples you see in Vajrayana Buddhism, you'll see them on DMT. You'll see them on shrooms. They are all there in some sort of hyperdimensional realm. I don't know why, how, but it's to this very moment of my life, I'm still trying to figure it out.
It's like code, you know.
It's the most fascinating thing that you could never imagine. As an artist, you could never envision what you'll see on psychedelics. It's terrifyingly beautiful.
Love that. So yeah, we'll save that for another time.
Thank you.
But okay, so the final question I like to ask people is, what does freedom mean to you?
Is this something you ask everybody before they go home?
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Freedom is being at peace in this very moment. Nothing more to say. Just rest in the infinite freedom that's already there.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the remembering. So many insights. Like, yes.
Thanks, Jess. You're so cool.
Yeah, and you. I'm so glad that we met here and shared, and yeah, really appreciate it.
Cool, man. Keep in touch, and let's do the psychedelic show one day.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing. Thank you.
Have a
Thank you so much for listening to this episode and to this podcast. We hope that you can gain many insights through the art of listening. If you haven't already, we would love it if you can follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if that feels right for you. We've also just launched our first online course, Awakening 101. A Ninja's Guide to Navigating a Spiritual Awakening, which is led by me and is offered via donation. So if you feel called to that, then please dive in. It's available via our website. Thank you.